we really haven't looked back, and we have gained such ability since then in our technology and our training, and the things that the officers are capable of now is just astounding. And then when you have the officers that we have, I sleep pretty easy at night, and Herriman should too. This is a exceptionally high functioning police department, one you won't find other places, I promise you that.
Welcome to Herrimanology.
The official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, February 26th. We had a city council meeting last night. We will punt that information into next week.
It'll be great information, though.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
There were some interesting things at the meeting last night.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a bit next week. But today, we had to do this today because you are retiring.
That's a fact.
This weekend, Monday?
This weekend, it'll be the 28th.
Yeah.
So technically March 1st.
Yeah.
So the 28th at midnight, I will no longer be the chief of police of Herriman City.
Yeah, which is a wild thought.
It's crazy, isn't it, to think that it's different for me because it isn't just a place I worked. It was a place I helped build.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't exist. You and I, remember how many nights we spent working late just trying to get graphics done for patches and cars and badges and stuff.
Your office was right there.
Yep.
My desk was over there.
Yep. And we pulled some 14, 16-hour days, especially the first month.
Yep.
So we had 4 months to do it. And John and I really were at the point of that spear, and we did it.
Yeah.
We pulled it off.
Those are good times, good memories.
Great memories. And we learned a lot.
Yes.
Right?
We did.
We did a lot of stuff that we hadn't done before. It took us out of our comfort zone. And like I said, I can remember some late nights where I think we were a little punchy, this is crazy. We've been here since 7 this morning.
Yep. So when I got here in August 2017, you were the precinct chief for Unified Police Department for the Herriman Precinct.
That's correct.
There was no Herriman City Police Department.
That's right.
That did not exist. By early summer of the next year in 2018, we had given notice as a city to withdraw from UPD and form the Herriman City Police Department.
That's right.
You were sworn in as our first chief. I think it was June 6th.
It had to be the first week of June, as I recall.
Yeah, I think it was June 6th.
Yep.
And then we had a very ambitious task.
We did.
For the next just 4 months.
Yeah, just 4 months, which hadn't been done before. And, you're waiting on things that other people hold, like your ORI number from the federal government. We don't control that, and that usually takes, 6 months to 8 months to get. And we were worried it wouldn't come in time. Now, and specifically that number came the first week that we had hired the new officer group. And so, we slid under the wire on that one for sure.
We had to kind of do everything.
We did.
We had some vehicles that we were able to carry over from the previous department, but
that was a juggling act because they were using them still, and so we had to during that very last 2 week period, the cars that we took over, and we had bought some new ones because we didn't have enough, as you'll recall. UPD didn't have enough cars for the amount of officers that we had, and we had to juggle those in the last 2 weeks. In fact, I was down at the shop at late hours at night putting stickers on cars and doing different things. It was crazy to get those transitioned over.
Yeah, involvement I had at that point was we were working on designing the badge, the patch you see on the shoulder, the vehicle wrap, various forms and logos, getting things uploaded to websites, just a lot of little details, and I only had a portion of it.
The amount of details is astounding, really. We had a warboard, we called it, which was 2 walls of a big office next door that were just full of tasks, and they numbered in the hundreds easily. And down to, I remember when we were designing the patch, you and I sat down and we wanted copper in it. That was a main driving factor because of our history and heritage of the copper mine. and where we are positioned and how many people lived here that worked in the copper mine and those kind of things. So we wanted to pull some of that back in, and much like the patch where we have, and we still have since 2018 on the bottom of it, because that's going to be a forever important date for us. That's when that's where we were conceived, right? That's when we started this process, and the places we've been since.
I was thinking just a couple nights ago reviewing. First, I was going through all of our folders to find every picture I had with you in it. I did throw some to the side.
John likes to keep bloopers of me and pictures of me doing crazy things. So if nothing else, we had fun, right?
Yes, we did have fun. There's just a lot that happened, both in that launch process. That was an especially busy time. The few months after that, I was thinking even just the night that HPD went live. We were all packed down in the patrol room,
waiting for that clock to tick down.
Yep.
So we had a clock that a fire department had given us because they had done the same thing some years before, and it was a countdown clock, and it ran for 4 months. The day I got hired, it was left on my desk, and I started it for its countdown. And our goal was September 29th, and that date rung to me because, as I recall, it's the first day that the Metropolitan Police Department, which is the father of police departments in London, was designed and actually kind of became a thing, right, as an official policing department. Before that, most policing was kind of ragtag, grab a night watchman type of thing. And so I wanted that date to live in our history too. And so that clock counted down and down. It sat in my office, as you'll recall, day after day, counting down. And we put it in the patrol room downstairs. And that night, everybody came in. And when it crossed midnight, we took over. That clock counted down, and the little alarm went off.
Yep.
And there we were.
Dispatched there. We had a lot of the officers packed in the room, signing on.
Yep.
Somewhat ceremonially, but
that'd be I'd love to see that video again of all the officers signing on, because they did it in the room, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, in the patrol room. Dispatch was on there. Dispatch did a read, transitioning from UPD and the sheriff's office over to the Herriman City Police Department. And then, hours later, there's a major incident already.
There was a major incident, and a tragedy, an awful tragedy, where 3 young men lost their lives in a car. And it was found a day later. It was terrible. But we knew that we had the right people hired, and we handled it without skipping a beat. And that's a very proud moment for me, to know that within hours of taking over, we had the ability to handle such a tragedy.
Yeah. I remember some things you said that night, just looking at the officers and saying, we have a competent police department.
That's right.
And to a lot of people, competent is like, okay, minimally qualified. But in this case, it was, we're capable of anything.
We were.
Yeah,
we had an exceptionally capable police department.
Hired really experienced police officers.
We did.
Just had a grade A team from the first moment, and it stayed that way too.
I think it's gotten better. I think whatever's next past the A team, the platinum team.
A plus.
Yeah, the A plus.
Extra credit team.
Well, I say we go to precious metals. We'll just call them the platinum team. And we really haven't looked back, and we have gained such ability since then in our technology and our training, and the things that the officers are capable of now is just astounding. And I am so proud of each one of them. In fact, last night when they were talking, they kept saying, you have done this and you've done that and built this great thing. And really, as I mentioned last night, has so very little to do with me. In fact, nearly none. The way this place is run has to do with the command team. It has to do with the sergeants. That's your middle management system that really runs the police department. And then when you have the officers that we have, I sleep pretty easy at night, and Herriman should too. This is a exceptionally high-functioning police department, one you won't find other places. I promise you that. And so, no, I have no worries about leaving. I know that it's in good hands. If there is one thing that I guess I could take credit for, is that I built it so that it could succeed no matter what. If I were gone, had I met my demise in a car accident coming to work, you wouldn't have known it. This place will run no matter what.
It was interesting. Just at the city council meeting, there was 20, 25 minutes or so that everybody was kind of going one by one. I mean, everybody, the city council, city administration. You've been honored by Representative Burgess Owen's office.
That was that'll be a highlight for me. I enjoyed that.
That was cool. There were tears shed by some people who don't normally shed tears.
That's right. They were pushing him back in. Get back in there.
All the while, there's a technical issue going on in the room.
I don't know what was happening. We had some beeping noises online.
So we were investigating during the meeting. I muted the speakers so nobody could hear it in the room after a few minutes, but that went online for probably another 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So all the, this is our moment to pour out our heart to Chief every 10 seconds.
Yeah, it sounded like a fire department call out back in the background there. So
I did worry for half a second that somebody had somehow connected to dispatch or something. They were going to do something like, are we really doing this? I should have known about it. It wasn't that. It was a phone line that we haven't touched in 6 years. Was having a moment.
It just decided to take life and do its own thing. And that happens, right, with technology. But it was great to see everybody come and, in my mind, support the police department that will be, right? And not so much as I reminded them, at least not that I know. I'm not dying. Everything's fine. So the police department will carry on great. And I think that's what it was all about, was let's make sure that we support what will be. And what will be, John, the trajectory of this police department's been astounding. And we've already talked about a lot of that, right? We have a high trajectory. Our performance is amazing. The officers' abilities are second to none. Every one of them. For the newest officer that we have in FTO right now is top notch. All of them are amazing. I would go through the door with any of them any day. And I spent most of my career growing up in operations and doing patrol and cop stuff. And I love cop stuff and I love cops. And everything that they do for us is just so honorable, right? But last night, it really felt like they understand the trajectory of the police department. The last thing we want is that trajectory to flatten out. And so our goal should be to make sure that whoever's next in whatever capacity is able to continue that trajectory and even make it better. That certainly won't hurt my feelings if we go well beyond my abilities. And I think we will. There is no holding these people back. And the reason I say that is it's the people themselves that drive this. They have their own gravity. This will just keep going because we have the most exceptional police staff. And when I say the police department, I include, and oftentimes this is not said enough, I include the civilian component to our police department, which is absolutely second to no one. In fact, most of the time they're teaching the other civilians in other departments how to handle things. And when I say that, we have the forensics, Sadie in forensics. Amazing. She came to us out of college, ready to learn, and she has gone to such an amazing level with her abilities in forensics and in evidence handling. She's the one that keeps all of our evidence tracked and where it's supposed to be. And every time we get an audit, A+, right? Sadie's amazing. And Lisa, our victim advocate, just does an incredible job. I have zero worries that anything will happen. And the victim component is a big deal, right? We want a victim-centered response to victims of crime. And Lisa, in the United States, I would put her up against anybody. She's amazing. She works, no matter what, you can call her at 2 o'clock in the morning. She'll pick up that phone and be on the scene just like that. The officers, really, at the end of the day, to back up a little bit, all of us in the police department support those guys that are in patrol, driving the black and whites, right? Those are the guys and gals doing the job. The rest of us are supporting them. Whether we are of a higher rank or brand new, we support them no matter what. And to move past that with Karen. Karen's the office manager, and I always say she's the mom of the police department. She is. She comes in first thing in the morning every day when I get to work and tells me a bad dad joke, which I then tell everybody else because that's my job. And she follows it up with, this is what we've got to get done today. Do you need anything? What are we doing? And we go through all of that right down to records. And records is the backbone of the police department. You know, because you helped us build it, how important records is. Everything that transpires in the background of a police department has to do with a record. And we've got Shelby and Whitney and Grace just behind the scenes killing it every day. And the other thing that I appreciated about all of them, Sadie, Lisa, Karen, Whitney, Grace, Shelby, they are constantly taking the officers and training them and making them better and saying, hey, we need to do it this way, whether it's the way we're booking evidence or the police report we wrote, right, that didn't make it through its checks, and making them be better at their job. Really, really appreciate the support staff and what they do for us. And our civilian employees continue through the community services unit that is a newer unit within the Herriman City Police Department that we created a couple of years back. That now includes animal services, parking enforcement, code enforcement, and we have amazing people that work there. They take care of the animals at the shelter out of Porter Rockwell. They maintain the administrative law judge cases that happen through code enforcement. And then we've got, the folks themselves that are out. And you'll see them in the white trucks with the green stripes and say community services on them. Their job is to go out and make sure that our parking enforcement is handled. Code enforcement is taken care of. Keeping the city clean is an important thing. Especially taking all the signs off of the light poles and such that we have to remove after a yard sale, on down to vicious animals and animals at large, and animal bites and those kind of things, all handled within that unit that also we support, and they help support the law enforcement mission as well. So a very important group of people overall that we want to make sure that we take care of those folks as well, and make sure that our eyes are on the whole gambit of units that the police department encompasses.
It's a lot of ground to cover.
It is a lot of ground, and it's a lot of different disciplines to handle. I have learned quite a bit about code enforcement, animal services, administrative law judges, you name it.
Because those weren't originally under the HPD umbrella,
right,
when the HPD first started.
They were not. And we have, through the course of administration changes, welcomed them into the police department, and they've done a remarkable job in setting up from scratch, by the way, something that didn't exist before. Those services were contracted out, and now we handle those in-house at a much more reasonable rate than we would have paid for the contract service. But again, back to taking care of many different disciplines, we have an animal shelter that day and night, just like our officers are, we've got to take care of the animals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Christmas. Somebody's got to feed, clean, and walk the dogs, and whatever we do with cats. Not a cat guy, sorry. I don't think you walk cats. Maybe.
I've seen cat leashes before.
Have you?
Yeah.
I think that would turn bad quickly. I've seen the videos. So, not being a cat guy, I don't know exactly how we take care of cats, but we do. And we are a no-kill shelter. And we, again, it's just something we have to take care of all the time. So even on Christmas, on New Year's, on 4th of July, when everybody's off, those officers and community services people are out taking care of business for the city. And if I've forgotten anybody in any way, it isn't because I don't value you and hold you in the highest respect. It's as we go through this process today, there's a lot going on in my mind. We have a lot of employees. The police department has 60 full-time employees, and then we have another 60 crossing guards. So we have a portfolio of 120 employees under the chief's command, and it's a lot to keep track of.
It's a big team effort.
It's a huge team effort. And if I could talk about the crossing guards, they're so amazing. It's a big team, and every day you can't imagine the chessboard that they lay out, that they run every morning. Do you know that we do 500 crossings a week in Herriman City? Just imagine the pieces and parts that go into that. And Brittany is new to the supervisory role there. Bethany was there before. And I've known Bethany for 20 years. And she is absolutely one of my favorites. I love her to death. The job that she has done in the police department is second to none. And I know that Brittany will be able to carry it on. She's awesome. It's going to be great. But to say that Bethany was anything less than spectacular would just be cheating her out of all the credit she deserves. And she would never try and take any of it because she's so humble. But Bethany Zier, I am telling you, every morning she controlled the movements of 20,000 kids that go to school in and through Herriman. She's an amazing person. And not only is she an amazing person, those crossing guards that you see out there in the rain and in the snow, they get our kids safely to and from. Like at the end of the day, they're the heroes, right? Last year we've had them Well, over the years since we've been here, we've had them pull kids out of the street because a car doesn't yield. We've had them step in front of cars to protect kids. The danger and the heroic actions that they take it's really a good group of people. And we do, I'm telling you, in this city, and not just in the police department, in administration and public works, our employees are phenomenal. And I just want them to know that how much I think of them. It's a well-run city.
It's been said by several people that our city punches above its weight in terms of performance versus staff numbers.
Right.
Multiple departments I know have been told, you do this much and you have this many people.
Right.
But that's across the whole city.
Yeah.
That's a culture that Herriman City has. The police department has been a huge part of that.
Yeah.
I would say if someone had to describe our culture here, warm and friendly with really high expectations.
Right. And we work hard, and we expect great things from great people, so we hire great people. Whether it's, like I said, the newest person in streets, to the newest officer, to the newest person in the water department, they're remarkable people. And you do not get hired at Herriman if you're not willing to work. And we do punch above our weight. And I'd give you an idea. Our police department, we have, when we go back to talking about the number of employees versus the sworn officers within the program, including me, there's 44 officers. 44 officers, we have a city of 65, 70,000 people, 25 square miles, several thousand acres of what they call urban interface, which is four-wheel roads and everything. We get people back in there doing dumb stuff. We control that with 44 people. Why? Because the people who live in Herriman are no different than the employees. They're an amazing group of people. And we have very little problem. We just do. And it's a special thing that you really can't describe to people. When you come to live in Herriman, it almost comes with a responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And we encourage that because we have a connected community. We have events. And we're really connected to the events department. The police department is probably work the closest with any other department would be events. And I believe like that events keeps us connected. That connection keeps us family. That creates a town atmosphere, not a city. This is a big city that feels like a little town. And I've always appreciated that.
Yeah.
And to police anywhere else would not have been the same experience for me. And I've had opportunities to police other places before I came here. And I've had opportunities to leave here and police other areas that, I've got recruited for. Not a chance. I am not leaving Herriman City until I'm done. And I felt like this was probably the right time.
I wanted to highlight one thing. You were talking about the future trajectory of the department, and I feel like in conversations I've had with people inside, some people outside, including some officers who have left, when I've just run into them at conferences or other things, there's nothing but high praise. And you can correct me if this is wrong, but I feel like in an age where a lot of law enforcement agencies are struggling to fill vacancies.
Yeah.
That's not an issue we have here. Our issue is filing down the mile-long list of applicants when there is a vacancy.
We have, and that is an issue for me that I've struggled with the pendulum being on the other side of the problem that others experience, right? And that problem is I have to tell really great candidates that would be starters on other teams that they got to sit on the bench for a minute until we get an opening because our turnover is fairly low, typically because of retirements or people getting opportunities in the private sector, which has pulled from law enforcement. And we've felt that a little bit where people, they can obviously make more money in private sector and they'll go and do that. And I encourage that. What's best for your family is best for us as a whole, right? And I've always said that, you always have to take care of your family first. We're going to, support whatever decision you make. The problem with Herriman right now is that we have these phenomenal officers that are waiting. I got a call yesterday, with not the officer who had applied from another agency, but their supervisors and their command staff saying, this guy, even they're saying you should go there. That's one of the best police departments in the region. I'm not talking about the state of Utah. I put this police department up against anybody in the country. We are that high performing. And we are that professional. And it was interesting to me to have that phone call. And I'm like, ah, man, that's great. But we don't have any openings. And they were a little stunned. They're like, you don't? Because they're sitting on several. And when I say several, I'm talking in the 10s and 20s. And I'm like, yeah, we don't have any openings right now. We're happy to put him in line and visit with him. And we do a recruitment process. As you know, we open it up every 60 days or so. And we talk about, okay, let's look at the next group of applicants. And some of them fold over from the last, they reapply. Because we encourage that, right? Stay on the list, reapply, stay on top. When we get to the application process, we'll talk to the group of you. And oftentimes it's hard to give everybody that wants a job here. Yeah. And that's a struggle for me, because I want great cops coming here, and to make them wait feels like I'm losing out. I'm like, I don't want to lose on these guys because they're amazing. They have very, very great resumes.
Yeah. As your time is coming to a close here, are there any favorite memories, or if you don't want to call them favorite memories, just things that keep coming up in your mind as things that, wow, we went through that, or wow, we did that in your time here with HPD?
Well, we've had some challenges in our time here. And this isn't a favorite memory by any stretch of the imagination. This was the tragedy that befell us with Hondo's death while he was apprehending a wanted fugitive. And that hit us hard. It was heavy. We were relatively new as a police department. And I think my biggest chore there was to hold everybody together as we got through that. So some of my favorite times are the times I got to spend with the employees. Like at the end of the day, we have a tradition, and every time we hire somebody, no matter what role they're in the police department to fill, we go to lunch with them and we learn about them. And it's important to me to not only know the employee, but to know their family and understand that they have a family that wants them to come home every day. And that's important for me, right? That's my main role, is to make sure that we have the training, the equipment, and the personnel to make sure we're safe out there. From the old Hill Street Blues, let's be safe out there. That's my role. We're going to close with that, by the way. So that'll be my closeout. I'm trying to remember the sergeant's name. We can look it up. To know that we're in such competent hands makes it easy for me to retire and give my family the time that they deserve now.
About 35 years in law enforcement.
Yep.
There are some people who are just starting law enforcement, some people who've been in it for, anywhere between now and 0 years. Any thoughts you would have to share with new officers or people who are thinking of becoming officers?
It's a noble profession, and it always will be, regardless of the political atmosphere and the things that you see on social media or on mainstream media. It is a noble profession to be in. And Herriman is a place that I respect greatly. The people in Herriman definitely respect their law enforcement. And it's that partnership that we have with the community that makes us so different. I oftentimes tell people in other places, cops travel hours to go work in a city. That doesn't mean a lot to them, right? They come in as kind of an occupying force, really, and they go and do their thing without much thought about what they're doing. Here, as you know, we have a lot of officers that both live in the city and or close to the city, if not neighboring communities, that have the buy-in of, this is my community, and these are the people that I live with, and I shop with, and I know. And policing isn't, something that you look forward to arresting a person, or that a problem you're going to arrest your way out of, for that matter. It is a problem-solving career, and it's something that you need to look at and say, the best answer is never just to throw people in a box down in the city, right? And go, okay, I did my job. I don't really care about them. I'm leaving. Every human being is our family, and sometimes they make a mistake. Our job is not to judge them. Our job is to get them in a position where they can recover, send them through the process that it may require by law, and get them back home. And whatever process and road that takes them down, I hope it's one of recovery. But we certainly welcome back people who have made mistakes to our community. That's not the issue at all. The issue is that when you have people that don't care about the community, that are given power and authority, that can become a problem very quickly for the community itself. let alone for the leaders of the community. And so we're just not into that brand or style of policing. Our brand and style of policing is community involved. We've even shied away from the time-old community-oriented policing because it really is, it's community involvement that gets us where we need to be, right? And I think that we have so much respect from our community only because the way we handle ourselves is that we respect every individual that we encounter. We don't discount people because we think they're not worthy or they have no value. Every human being has value, and we want to engage them in a way that helps them find their way home. Whatever their journey is, if we can help them find their way home versus throwing them in a box and forgetting about them, that's what we want to do.
In Herriman, we have a city council and have had a city council who values public safety, law enforcement, and from my perspective, I feel like has given as much as they can to support the police department, specifically with equipment, making sure that we have enough budget to hire good people, training, all the resources available. But there's also a balance because we don't have an unlimited treasure chest of funds.
Right.
And that's something that I know that the city administration and the city council over the years has valued, that when you ask for something or have asked for something, now it's going to be past tense, that it's needed and there's no frivolous spending, that the council both values giving as much as is reasonable to the police department, but it also doesn't go to waste. It's something that I believe you have held important, is making sure that public resources are used appropriately.
Yeah. So we carefully consider our budget, and one of the very first things on my job responsibilities is to be responsible with taxpayers' money, right? And sometimes it bothers me when people say, "Oh, we got a federal grant for that." That's still our money. It's still coming out of our pockets. There's no federal money that isn't the responsibility of a taxpayer somewhere, right? And here in Herriman, being a little bit different than other places, we have a district that pays for law enforcement. I think that will be the future of law enforcement, period. And the reason I think that is there is certain transparency that must come with that. They can't spend the money on a park once they've raised taxes. It has to go to law enforcement, right? So there have been cities that have been like, yeah, we need law enforcement, we need firefighters, and then they take the money and do something else with it. In our city, that can't be done. And the transparency that it allows the citizens to have is second to none. The other thing that I believe it brings to us is if the city, and there no way, shape, or form will this happen in our lifetime, but if a city were to go bankrupt, your law enforcement and your firefighting systems are safe because they're funded by a taxing district. And so I think that's important not only for the people that we serve, but for the people that work here to understand I'm safe. One of the things that we like about the taxing district is when sales taxes are high, other cities, they hire cops. And then when they're low, they sometimes have to RIF them and do other things that cut back on the law enforcement services. We live kind of down the middle of the road, and I like that, right? We can project things much more confidently than other taxing opportunities in cities have, and I think that it just provides for a better law enforcement process overall. And to that end, the council's able then to say, what do you need? And they have clearly said it. We will make sure that you have all the equipment and training you need. And I hold them to that because I believe that too. If I am going to ask a police officer to go out and work all night on Christmas and do things that nobody else wants to do, like walk up on that car at 2:00 in the morning that somebody's called in as being suspicious, then I owe it to them to have the best equipment and the best training to get them home to their families. I would feel remiss in my duties if I had to knock on a spouse's door and tell them that their loved one, our police officer, was killed in line of duty because they didn't have the right equipment or the best training. And so that was one of the things when we started the police department, and you'll probably remember this, that was when they hired me. And in my interview, I told them that I'm your wrong guy if you think that for a minute I'm not going to have the best equipped and best trained police officers, because that pays back to the community tenfold. The best trained and the best equipped are the highest functioning, and the community is treated respectfully. They know that these officers are not out doing what they shouldn't be doing. They know when an arrest is made, it's warranted. All of those things that come along with the highest performing police officers we can afford. And we've done a very, very good job of affording what we need and not living beyond our means. And I think that's important too. We certainly don't want a police department that's trying to live beyond its means, because law enforcement is expensive and it can bankrupt cities. And ask California. They know exactly what that feels like. So here, I believe we have the right model. I believe it's a model that's predictable, that's sustainable, and we can project a decade out and say, generally speaking, this is where I think we'll be, both in population and the ability to provide a service to that population.
And we try to make a habit on this podcast of explaining kind of tough concepts to people. So when you're talking about stable and predictable in terms of tax, there are a lot of different taxing revenues that a city can get. So this taxing district you're talking about is the Harriman City Safety Enforcement Area. It shows up on your property tax bill.
HCSEA.
Yep. And it's predictable because in the state of Utah, the taxing district basically sets, we want to get this amount of revenue in this year to fund these operations. And the state and the county work together based on property values and everything to calculate how we get to that number. Whereas with sales tax, that's pretty dependent on people shopping in a geographical boundary and may go up and down.
Wildly unstable.
Yes.
Wildly unstable as we're seeing currently, where we have low of lows and then some silly highs that seem to not be real. And so when I say it's predictable and we don't live high or low, we're kind of down the middle. That's exactly right, because it's predicated on property values. And those are things that we can say we generally think are going to be X, Y, and Z in this time period. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it allows the police department to plan, is another key component for where we need to be and when we need to be there, if that makes sense. So with our population, and we're a growing city. Other cities I've worked in, not growing at all. And it's a cut and paste type of model. Here, the chief of police is really, the ball's moving all the time. What's our population? Where are we building the next house? I'll come to work and go do a patrol shift, and it's like they helicoptered houses onto a street somewhere that I'm like, last week I swear none of this existed, and now we're providing service to that. And one of the tricky parts is we don't see the tax dollars based on the property value model for about a year to 18 months. And so we have people that move in and require services to say they have a disturbance at their house that we have to go on, that really haven't paid into the process of policing yet. And to complicate things a little bit more, we have places that require services that don't pay property taxes, such as schools and churches and liquor stores, things that take, as you can imagine, significant police resources that don't pay into the HCSEA. And so it is a little bit of a juggling act. But again, I say that not to worry anybody. I say that to be informative and to explain it and be transparent, but also say it's very stable, it's very sustainable. Don't worry. Your policing will always be safe in Herriman City, and you'll always have a very highly performing police department.
Come Monday morning, you won't have to be here. You won't have to worry about all these financial models.
I guess I'll be unemployed. I'll sit at home and build spreadsheets for the grocery store or something. I don't know.
I'm sure you will be thinking of the officers still, because you don't just stop caring about them when the weekly paycheck ends. But what are you looking forward to in the next chapter?
Well, you're right. I will always worry about them. Being the chief now for 8 years and a couple years before that in another police department, you take home the worry of their worries because they come in and confide in you. You take home the worry of their safety. You take home the worry of their needs. You take home the worry of the city. You take home the worry of your colleagues around regionally. You take home the worries of our community. You take home the worries of a family that, is missing their daughter. You take home the worries about everything. And it's super heavy, right? I think I'll look forward to unloading some of that to the next guy that can take on the worries of the community and some other things. I think I'll always worry about police officers, period. Like I drive down the road, even off duty, and see an officer out with a car on a traffic stop, and I worry about him. and think, man, should I go help him? But I think that might be weird if I pulled up in a minivan and got out and said, don't worry, I'm the police, I'm here to help you. And then he's thinking, oh, this isn't great.
You rocking a minivan?
No, I don't rock a minivan. I said that because I couldn't think of anything else. What would worry the cop the most is a minivan pulling up, I guess. Well, in Herriman, if it was just an F-150, everybody thinks that's the police. The guys that own F-150s driving around, everybody knows.
As a former Chevy Impala owner,
Yeah.
I knew that in Salt Lake. People would slam on their brakes in front of my white
That's
Chevy
right.
Impala. I'm like,
Yeah.
please stop doing that.
Well, and we had to talk to you about the spotlight you had on it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, it really is a job of worry to some extent, right? And I've always tried to control that with having an active life and, going exploring Utah and surrounding states. And I hope to get out and explore the world with my beautiful wife. And it will certainly be a reset. I kind of feel like it's going to be rolling out of a car while you're driving down I-15, right? And standing up and going, well, now I'm just walking, right? And things will slow down for me quite a bit. But I've got, a lot of things to look forward to, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to experience still. But yeah, I'll always worry about my people.
Yeah.
That'll be something that probably never goes away, to be honest with you.
Well, congratulations on a great law enforcement career. Congratulations and thank you for everything you've accomplished and done here with Herriman. I think I wrote in your little memory book somewhere that you're a big reason that Herriman City is the great place to work and live as it is. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I think a lot of other people have given you a lot of messages, so I won't belabor that point, but it's been good. And I'm excited for you to be able to take a break, take a breather, be able to relax and hopefully have some fun.
It's going to be a little bit of a reset for me, but I'm excited for what comes next. And, we'll see.
Yeah.
I whispered to my wife last night when I hugged her, I'm coming home. So.
Man, just a couple days till it's
couple more.
Official.
Right. Couple more, and it's right in the middle of a weekend, so we'll see how that turns out.
Well, thanks for taking a lot of time. I believe this is our longest podcast ever, even after I trim it up and edit it.
And I've done some long podcasts.
Yeah. At least our longest video podcast. Yeah. We did have some audio ones back in the day those were good.
They were good.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Lots of bloopers over the years.
I'll
have to send you a compilation sometime.
Maybe when you retire.
Right.
You can do a compilation of the
it's gonna
silliness.
Be a couple more years before that.
I think you've got a little ways to go.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spending your time here today.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, Herriman, for having me.
Yeah.
It's been a great city to work in, a great community, and I love y'all.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Don't be too much of a stranger. Don't hang around too much either.
That might be weird.
Yeah.
Like Monday, if I was in the lobby, might be
like, hey,
weird.
everyone.
Like, you got anything I can do?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Do some house chores.
Yeah. I think I got to clean out the garage and do some other things. Like I said, I always tell people that, what are you doing? I say, I'm going to work for my wife. She's got a whole list of stuff she needs me to do. So I guess I'll work there and let URS pay me.
Nice. Very good. Well, Chief Carr, soon to be former Chief Carr, thank you. If you have any questions for Chief Carr, it's probably too late, honestly, but if there are any really good ones, maybe we'll forward them on.
You could. I might answer them. It depends on how much I get per answer. I don't know.
Not much.
Not much. Thank you.
It may be equal to 0.
Okay.
But
yeah, in the terms of numbers, it would probably be exactly 0.
If you have any other questions about HPD, then just write us at communications@herriman.gov, as always, and we'll have the next person answer it.
Yep. As Sergeant Esterhouse on Hill Street Blues always said, hey, let's be careful out there.